Their goal?
Annual turnover was $1 billion. They got $41 million in the last 2 years in cryptocurrency wallets. Hamas has about $500 million in assets because Hamas charges heavy taxes, investing in multiple companies in Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Algeria, and Sudan.
Using terrorist tunnels placed in civilian areas.
But how is the money transfer to a banned organization allowed to happen?
Move weapons around Gaza. They have no mercy.
Richest terror groups in the world in 2014. We are witnessing another chapter of the Israel Palestine crisis. This time, Hamas started the crisis with a massacre on October 7, and Israeli forces are now going after them. It's time we put the spotlight on Hamas. If we look very closely at how they work, some disturbing questions come up. Let's take them up one by one. Thanks for tuning in. This is Ratna. You are watching Empire Diaries. Hamas took control of the Gaza Strip in 2007. Since then, it has been running the Palestinian territory and routinely carrying out military style attacks on Israel. The question is, how can a stateless entity be so well armed and well trained? They own tons and tons of sophisticated military grade equipment. Who do they get it from? Gaza is strictly landlocked by Israel from north and east. To Gaza's west is the Mediterranean Sea. It is meticulously patrolled by Israeli forces. Gaza's south border is with Egypt. That border is strictly guarded by the Egyptians. They are building a military grade concrete wall to stop innocent Gaza residents from escaping the battle zone. So, how on earth do sensitive killer weapons enter Gaza and reach Hamas? There's a lot of talk in the media about how much aid is going in for the poor civilians, but the mainstream press doesn't investigate how military grade weapons go in. Let's look at the weapons that Hamas used during the October 7 attack. They launched 5,000 high caliber rockets in a span of a few hours. Only a state backed military level operation can do it. Some say Hamas has about 30,000 such rockets, and many of them are long range. They can bring down commercial planes. Hamas also used .50 caliber machine guns placed on pickup trucks. On October 7, they used rockets, AK-47 guns, grenades, and drones, all at the same time. It was a full spectrum attack from a highly armed and highly trained unit. It is impossible for a stateless body to get hold of such war machinery on its own. The attacks were carried out by Qassam brigades, the military wing of Hamas. They are not ordinary underground fighters. They are properly trained combat experts. So, if Gaza is blockaded, how can so many killer weapons reach Hamas? What is the route? Who is helping them from outside? Food and aid can't go in easily, but weapons are going in. What is the math here? Let's move on to the next point, the money factor. Hamas has high end training, expensive arms, and a proper intelligence network. To put all this together, they need plenty and plenty of money. Where does that money come from? We know that Hamas is based in Gaza and Gaza is cut off from the rest of the world. So, how does the money reach their hands? If we assume the money is delivered to Hamas or transferred to them by powerful outsiders, how do they spend it on buying arms and ammunition? Isn't it practically impossible for Hamas to be able to do that, considering the ban and blockade? An unusual truth is Hamas is not an accepted business entity, but they own enormous amount of money and assets. That's why they can buy deadly weapons and carry out ambitious attacks. Reports in the German media say Hamas has about $500 million in assets. That's a fortune for an organization that is banned and blockaded. They got the assets by investing in multiple companies in Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Algeria, and Sudan. The investments are mainly in real estate and construction. There is more. We are told that Hamas is disconnected from the world, but they got $41 million in the last 2 years in cryptocurrency wallets. This was revealed by BitOK, a cryptocurrency watchdog. After the October 7 attack, Binance, a cryptocurrency exchange, froze hundreds of crypto accounts connected to Hamas. We are told a lot of money is channeled into Hamas through Iran and Turkey. They got $100 million every year through Iran, and they receive a lot of money through the Turkish Cooperation and Coordination Agency. But how is a money transfer to a banned organization allowed to happen? In fact, it sounds incredible. Forbes magazine declared Hamas one of the richest terror groups in the world in 2014. At that time, their annual turnover was $1 billion. Apart from invisible funding, Hamas also squeezes out big fat taxes from Gaza residents. It sounds cruel for the people of Gaza. Hamas collects 12 to 15 million dollars every month in taxes on goods entering from Egypt. Most of the tax money is collected from cigarettes, fuel, and construction materials. So, families in Gaza whose buildings are blown up by Israeli forces are forced to pay hefty taxes to Hamas just to rebuild their homes. And they're forced to pay high taxes to Hamas every time they buy petrol and diesel. Hamas doesn't control West Bank, it only controls Gaza. The Fatah political party governs West Bank, but strangely, Hamas collects heavy taxes on goods imported by the residents of West Bank. Now, if you set aside the taxes and investments abroad, the broader question of money supply still remains. Building a terrorist empire can't be done simply with donations, taxes, and profits from businesses. They definitely get a lot more money from bigger forces, but who supplies it and how? Here is another puzzling question. A top US official recently claimed that Egypt had warned Israel of the October 7 attack 3 days in advance. Israel has denied receiving any warning from Cairo. They called it absolutely false. The claim was made by Michael McCall, who heads a US congressional panel called the House of Representatives Foreign Affairs Committee. What is going on here? Why is America making this unusual claim? And why are people higher up in government like Joe Biden silent? What is the American game plan here? We know that Hamas is a designated terror group. It was created in 1987. The US government declared it as a terror group on October 8, 1997. So, for the last 26 years, Hamas has been operating as a terror group banned by the US, Britain, Australia, Japan, and the European Union, apart from Israel. The question is, why is the Pentagon sitting quietly and not trying to dismantle Hamas? America is very obsessive when it comes to tackling terrorism. It launched the War on Terror campaign after the 9/11 attacks. That campaign is still on, directly claiming almost 10 lakh lives so far. The US military has carried out anti terror actions in multiple countries, but it never decided to physically go into Gaza and finish off Hamas. Why the double standards from a country that intervenes in other countries' affairs at the drop of a hat? Is Hamas really fighting for the rights of Palestinians? If so, why are they using the common people of Gaza as shields? Every time Hamas attacks Israel, there is a strong counterattack from the Israelis, and it is common people of Gaza who take the bullets. They handle the retaliation, and the Hamas members escape to
But jihadists
underground
started
tunnels.
using terrorist
Hamas has
tunnels
built a
safe in civilian
sophisticated
areas
network of
in order
tunnels
to
under
operate
Gaza. The
hideouts
tunnels are
and move
meant for
weapons around
underground
Gaza.
operations and for
They
the
have no
general safety
mercy
of
or
Hamas
value for
officials.
human life.
But the public of Gaza doesn't have access to the safety of the tunnels. The people on the ground are fully exposed. They have no protection. That apart, we already discussed that Gaza residents are forced to pay extra money for the goods they buy because Hamas charges heavy taxes. If Hamas is fighting for the Palestinian public, why is it making their lives more difficult? A lot is being said about the Israel Palestine conflict. There is plenty of analysis going on out there in the mainstream circles. There is a constant flow of news about the daily developments, but no one is willing to answer these basic questions. Maybe because the answers are too disturbing. Maybe the answers will challenge the standard narratives we are spoon fed. Thanks for watching. Do keep following our work because we cover the cover ups. Haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Subscribe now. Don't forget to press the bell icon so that you get notified whenever we publish a report. Follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. WhatsApp get updates to 98210 for news and analysis you are not told. Visit our website empirediaries.com for more in-depth articles, columns and reports. Stay informed, stay awake.